Rythmia Life Advancement Center is a life advancement center that employs some unique modalities. We use sacred plant medicine combined with metaphysical teachings to bring about a really unique result. How unique is the result? Well, there have been about 7,500 people through the door, and 951 out of every 1,000 say that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. What does that compute to in like normal life? Well, there's a resort rating tool called TripAdvisor, and in the whole world, we're the #1 customer-rated resort on TripAdvisors with more than 1,000 respondents. So we really have something going on, and that's something that's going on is pretty cool. Let me first ask again, could you kindly share this? It's going to help us out a lot. My little thing on coronavirus, it's going to be over before you know it. I've been saying that since day one. And now in California and in the United States, you're starting to see the signs of it being over. This will be over before you know it. What is my prediction on the coronavirus? 17% infection rate, a 0.2 to 0.3% mortality rate. And what does that mean? That includes multiple morbidities, people that are experiencing death from other things that are counted as a coronavirus. So that's just my opinion. And the beautiful part about the conscious community, about our community, is that we're able to have differing opinions. And the thing I like about opinions is that time tells all tales. A year from now, we'll know what's what. But this is my thing. Now, things are going back to normal quicker than you think. So, because of that, what's important? What's important is that during this time, you did your homework. You did your work. You sat with yourself and you wrote down the things that are important to you, and that you're going to carry those things into the future with you. That's what's important. Did you do your work? One of the things that becomes super important is our careers. While you were alone with yourself, did you make a decision about whether you're in the right job or not? And that's a really big thing. And if you made a decision, perfect. Hey guys, hi Lorraine, hi Jen, hi Robin, hi Waleska, hi Julie. I got a way to see you now, fantastic. But if you made a decision that you're in the wrong job, then there is no time like the present. We just had a recess. You know, when you come back from recess, you're feeling fresh and invigorated and feeling like you have enough of what you need in order to make the changes in your life. I'm going to tell you this. The people who get something out of this recess are the people who made decisions about how their life can be improved. And that means to improve the lives of the people around them, because we improve us, we improve everything, and who stick to those decisions as they reintegrate. That's it. This is the thing. So recess is over soon. That's what I wrote. Now, if you're a business owner and you want to get something out of this recess, I'm going to tell you the new kinder capitalism. I want to talk a little bit about it because I got a lot of responses 2 weeks ago about something I said that was sort of put into the talk, but it struck a lot of people hard, and I want to talk about it. About conscious capitalism, about a kinder form of capitalism. What does that even look like? Well, the government can't impose it. Business owners and employees have to impose it. And how do they impose it? Well, it starts with a business owner that wants more than shareholders to be happy. So in business, you have all these different things, right? You have customers. Capitalists always wanted their customers to be happy. But in conscious capitalism, in kinder capitalism, we want our employees to be stakeholders. So if you take a look at stakeholders, we want our shareholders to be stakeholders, we want our employees to be stakeholders, and we even want our customers to be viewed as stakeholders. And when you do that, how does it picture itself? Well, when companies are just starting, then of course things are lean and mean. But as companies progress, management decides to share that with its customers so that there's more incentive to keep buying the goods and services of the company, but also with our employees. And how does that look? Well, I'll tell you how it looks for us in Costa Rica. On average, we pay twice the going wage. And what does that mean? It means that Rythmia Life Advancement Center has the best employees I've ever seen in this country, or probably any country. So these all pay dividends by making them stakeholders. Our management team owns equity. By making people stakeholders, what you're doing is you're up-leveling the whole thing. And by improving the lives of the people who work with you, you're improving the lives of everybody who that business touches. So, if you're in a company that doesn't look at it this way, maybe it's time for you to switch companies. You cannot expect the government to impose these restrictions on people because it's never going to work. They can't legislate a person into having a heart. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. This is something that has to happen within and from each and every one of us. This is the kinder face of capitalism. This is the kinder face of being an employee. It's the kinder face of the whole thing. And so I urge you, when you start your company and you're thinking about how you're going to do it, to actually think about not in startup, but once it's going, what's it going to look like? And in order to do that, you have to have an open heart and want to share with all the people on all the levels of your company. And if you do this, what's going to happen is you're going to create a company where jobs are coveted so greatly that there's such competition to work in your facility or your company or your factory or your whatever it is that you're doing, that the extra money that you pay the supporting crew, our partners, our things, will not even be missed. Because you see, this comes from having something that I call an abundance mentality. When you start the company and you have an abundance mentality and everybody is going to share, it's never missed because there's always more. There's always more to give away. There's always more to incentivize. There's always more. The only people that think the other way are people that have like a scarcity mentality, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work in the new face of capitalism. It's not going to work. So I wanted to bring that up today too. Yeah. Now let's go back to the real world. Here's the real truth of this thing: that life is going to return to normal so quickly. It's going to surprise so many people. On May 9th, Carnival opened up their bookings again, and they had a 600% increase in cruise bookings, 200% over any previous period. The memory of people is so short, the memory for pain. Hence the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th child. The memory from pain is so short-lived, and people live in this very world of an immediate gratification, and you're not going to change that. Now, it's my greatest hope that the 80-20 rule survived in coronavirus, meaning that 20% of us, just 20% of us, need to look at the world in a different way. 20% of us need to be the change. Just 20%. If that happens, the coronavirus was a success. If that happens, the coronavirus was a success. If 20% of us change the way we are in the world, change the way we are to our employers, change the way we are to our employees, change the way we are to our friends, change the way we are to our families, then it worked. And I want to tell you, if you are under the misconception that after coronavirus we're going to be living in utopia and everybody is going to be free and easy and things are going to be completely different, you're crazy. Because it wasn't to change everybody, it was to change you. So the thing that I know is after coronavirus, I swear to you, I'm a different person and I'm going to live a different way. And therefore it worked for me and it came at great cost to me. But I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to make the change. I'm going to keep those things that are important to me important, even when commercialism takes over. Capitalism, making a living, picking kids up, helping other people. Even when that takes over, I'm gonna make sure that the things that are important to me remain important. And what is that first thing? That first thing is putting others first. That's what's important. Crazy, but true. So I want to talk a little bit about this. The art of giving, the act of giving, is only difficult in the decision stage. Now I want you to catch that. The act of giving, the act of ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Ask not what your neighbor can do, ask what you can do for your neighbor. The act of giving is only difficult in the decision stage. See, once we're past decision, it's over. As soon as we make that decision, peace ensues. Contentment ensues. All of these other things start happening the moment we make the decision of giving. The problem is when you're sitting there with 3 Oreos, if we were lucky enough to be able to eat Oreos, if you had 3 Oreos, the hard part is deciding if I'm going to give a half away or 1 away and da. Once I make the decision, it's like I never had it. And I get to watch the other person eat that cookie and enjoy. So please understand this. Let's be the 20%. Let's be the people that actually make the difference. And I'm going to tell you the other bad news. It's hard. It's hard to watch yourself give and watch other people not give. That's in the decision. When you're watching that from a decision standpoint, it's torture. When you're saying, why the fuck should I engage myself in the giving of things when this guy sitting next to me isn't? I can tell you when that's bothersome. It's only bothersome when you're in the decision stage. Once you start giving, the joy out of the act of giving itself makes you now look at that guy and say, look what this idiot's missing. He's missing all the joy and all the contentment of life because he's too worried about making the decision to give. And nothing is as contagious as somebody's happiness through the giving of their gifts. If you ever see someone giving their gifts, they're happy and they're content. So let's be the 20%. And I have to tell you what, it's not 20% that's going to change the world. It's probably 2%. If this virus sways 2 out of every 100 to be in the act of giving instead of what's this going to do for me? What am I going to do for this? Everything changes. The whole thing worked because it's like a forest fire. It's so, you think this virus was contagious? Wait till you see how contagious happiness is. Wait till you see how contagious contentment is. I see people who look at me when I'm doing my thing here, I swear to you, sometimes I get up at 5:30 and I answer questions from people all day and get sucked into conversations and try to give as much as I can. And it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm still not free. I watch people who look at me and I know in their eyes they're thinking, how could this guy do it? And I think about it and I think, I'm the luckiest guy in the face of the earth because I get it. I get this one thing. I don't get a lot of other things, but I do get this thing. I get the understanding of my own joy. I'm my most happiness when I'm giving everything. And once we get that, you want to talk about something that catches on fire. That's the thing. And that's how we're going to change the world. And we're going to do it together. And I have to tell you this. How do you support this? You don't have to. This is what people get so confused about. They think, well, I have to go and talk to someone who feels this way every day because I have to borrow their strength. It's bullshit. Guess what? You kind of get used to being happy. Your who you are likes contentment. Who you are likes to feel, and here's the great thing, once you're doing the thing that you love and you're doing it long enough, you get to feel mastery. And what a thing. I would never want anybody to live their life without feeling mastery once. Sometimes, mastery is the ding thing. When you get done sometimes talking to a person and you know that you helped them and you know that this, you can't help feeling like, God, I got pretty good at that. So if you're in the healing arts and you want to get good at it, geez, you can't get good at it if you're holding back. You gotta give. This is all about giving, this whole thing. So I want to continue to talk about these things, okay? About a couple of things that I thought were going to be important for today. So don't think the world is going to be different. Don't expect to get treated differently. Don't expect that people are going to walk around and everything's going to be different. Everybody's going to love their brother. It's not true. 80% of the world is going to go on like nothing ever changed. Like nothing ever changed. And all you're going to get by expecting more from them is hurt. That's all you're going to get, and disappointment. So let's not be in that. Let's look at the 20% that's doing it. Let's look at this, and that 20%, once it ignites, will turn into 21 to 22 to 25 to 29 to 30. Trust me on this. This is our opportunity to start. It is. But you can't get it started by forcing your neighbor to do it. You got to do it. You can't get the fire started by forcing your neighbor to start one. Doesn't work that way. Yeah, and I talked yesterday about the carnival announcement. So I want to talk about a couple of different things about business, about investors. If you happen to be an investor in this environment, I'm going to tell you the 4 worst words that have caused more destruction than anything in the world in a redistribution of wealth back to the wealthy. So listen, these 4 words continually will from an investor standpoint, will redistribute wealth back to the wealthy. This time it's different. This time it's different. Because in a this time it's different mentality, everybody is expecting things to change. And what happens is they sell those things, those assets of the past. So what would they be selling? Cruise lines, hotels, airlines, And what happens is the wealthy sit back and watch. And then they come in when there's blood in the streets and they buy those things for pennies on the dollar and they get going up again, because I can promise you this. By 2023, no matter what, people are going to be flying more than they did in 2019. People are going to be visiting more hotels than they did in 2019. It's just the way it is. So if you have a little bit of a timeline, you can buy these things or hang on to them and ride it up, because here's what the wealthy are going to do. They're going to wait till you sell at rock bottom. They're going to buy it and they're going to sell you the same shit back. This is the crazy thing. They're going to sell you the same shit back. When it's here, when it's going here, because the wealthy never get out at the top. They work the middle. They work the middle, right? So it's only people that have a distorted view of their own understanding of markets that continually try to get out at the top. But what I'm going to ask you to do, don't lose everything by thinking this time it's going to be different. Let what happened with Carnival give you a glimpse into the future of what's going to happen. So just be mindful of that, because I hate to see people that only have a limited amount of investment capital be continually caught in this thing. I knew people that sold the airlines the day of 9/11. I know it. And then everything comes back. It's all coming back, right? So those are for investors. Be very careful that this time it's different. When you're looking at people and you're expecting them to act a way, be very careful of this time it's different. It might be different for a month. It might be different for 6 months, but it's not different forever. So keep that in mind. Last thing I want to talk about today is our own little slice of heaven, Rythmia. I'm going to be 100% forthright, because the medicine makes us tell the truth. One thing that people talk about with that too, does the medicine make you tell the truth all the time? It makes you tell the truth all the time, but you try to couch it in a way that's least hurtful to others. You don't have to walk around saying, fuck, those shoes are ugly, and things like that. That's not how this works, but we tell the truth. So what's the truth of what's going on at Rythmia? What's going on is that I'm getting more inquiries than I ever have before about, when are you opening? Oh my God, I have to come, I have to bring my friends, I have to do this and I have to do that. That's what's going on. Now, and this is another lesson too, right? So as the world turns, right? The countries that are going to come out of it first were in it first and it experienced it the deepest. So who's going to come out of it first? China. Countries that really had a hard time with it are going to be coming out the quickest, right? And Costa Rica was really good at stemming this. So we're going to be last, probably last in my opinion. So we're going to open up our borders last. The moment that we open up our borders, I'm going to do an announcement and I'm going to tell you we'll be pre-booked for a year. So when that happens, I don't know. You know, I try to review information every day and see when that's going to occur. I don't know. But as soon as I know, we're going to notify our community via email, via Facebook, through the web, every way that we can. And we want to see you here. I want the 20%ers here. Because why? Because we have such an opportunity for change now. You've got to get here. You got to get merged and you got to go forward. You got to get here, you got to get merged, and you got to go forward. And I'm dying to see you at Rythmia. I want to see you. So listen, in closing, it's going to be over before you know it. Might there be a little false start hiccup? Possibly. But then it's going to be over before you know it, and you're going to be longing for the time that you didn't have to go up and go to work, for the time that you could spend time with your kids, for the time that you got to call your mom and spend time on the phone with her, for all of these things you're going to be longing for. So make the most of the rest of it. You know, make the most of the rest of it. Do your homework. Stay true to yourselves. Decide the things that you want to change in your life that weren't serving you when they were there, whether that's a relationship, a way of looking at yourself, a vocation, a career, whatever it is. Make the most of this next bit. Get to the truth of the truth before recess is over. We have a grand restart, this beautiful restart. And I'm not talking about going down to Pink's to buy a hot dog, although that's another conversation. But here's the thing, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is this. I'm talking about a chance to restart yourself. Do you know that in Hollywood and in all these places, all of these actors and shit, they're constantly trying to reinvent themselves. You have the opportunity right now to create the life that you want because you had a break long enough to hear your soul and exactly what your soul wants. Please don't go against it. This is your chance. I don't care if you're 20 years old, if you're my age, if you're older, if you're 70 years old. This is a chance to redo things the right way and get the most of the time we got left. Let's do it, fam. Let's get together and let's make a change. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this thing. Please share this thing because people have to know about this. This is the kind of thing that if people knew and it rested with them, where we could really do some major change. So Facebook family, until I see you next week, we love you. May God keep you. May God hold you. And we will see you then. See you next week. Cheers.